Good morning there. This is Aman. Today we are going to present a presentation of business and corporate law. We are three members in a group. So namely Amandeep Kaur, Bharti and Karamveer Kaur. So we all are in a group S2. So now my friend Bharti will gonna explain with the issues of case study 1.
Hi, my name is Bharti. Now I am discussing the issues of Part A. The main issue that has been determined in the case of Lance Lincoln is the fraud. A man came to the owner of Australian Museum and asked him to fund him to get the unique treasure for the museum. He also provided the owner with a fake letter of recommendation from a museum of Caribbean. He showed unique collection of crockery. After a few days, a man went missing and later it was presumed that he died at sea during his expedition with other members. But some scholars found that Trevor Hunt has repeated and he was fraud. The police arrested him and owner wants to take civil action against him.
Now I'm gonna start with the rules. So the common law and statutory law will be applied on fraud. The common law that will be applied in the case as a Criminal Code Act 1952, number 12. According to law, if a person engages in an action though which he obtains financial advantage, then the person is considered guilty. The statutory law that we're gonna be applied in this case is a Criminal Code and Amendment Act 2000. This act describes deception as a reckless or intentional deception, either through an act or by words. The statutory law states that a person is considered guilty with an act if he does anything with the intention of obtaining money. A person will be considered guilty for a conduct if he causes risk of loss fraudulently to another person. The federal legislation of using fake identity will not be applied on a man as currently in Australia. Identity theft is not considered a federal crime. Some provisions can be used by the law to frustrate the man. Thank you. These all are the rules. Now my friend will gonna be done with the analysis.
Hi, my name is Karamveer Kaur and now I am going to continue with analysis of this case. In this case, the criminal or the guilty person was supposed to provide the museum with the required treasure for which he received $200,000. He did not get the treasure for the museum and presented himself as a fake person. Some federal provisions can be used to prosecute him. The possession of identification of another person is considered unethical, but currently, identity theft has not been recognized a federal crime in Australia. Therefore, the museum cannot file a case of identity theft on man. But according to Criminal Act, he will be imprisoned for 10 years. According to the Criminal Code Act 1995 number 12, the man will be responsible to return the money back to the owner of museum which he took fraudulently. The man is not allowed to use the identity of a person and deceive somebody. Trevor Hunt will be considered guilty for obtaining money from the owner of the museum fraudulently. Criminal Code Amendment Act 2000 also describes deception as an act in which a person intentionally deceives someone monetarily or through other methods. The museum can take a civil action against the man by using Criminal Code Amendment Act 2000 to recover its money. Now I am going to call my friend Bharti. She will going to conclude this case study. Thank you. In the conclusion, the man who presented himself as Trevor Hunt with the will responsible for returning the money back to the museum which he obtained frequently. The owner of the museum can take a civil action against the man by using Criminal Act 1995 number 12 and Criminal Code Amendment Act 2000. The man will be considered guilty for this act and will be charged $200,000 which he took dishonestly from the museum. Now I am concluding the part A. My friend Aman is coming with the case study 2.
As we just finished the case study 1, so now I'm gonna start with the case study 2. So the first comes out with the issues. So there are some characters over there. The first one is Kelly. So Kelly, who decided to start a new business with her friends related to importing goods from different parts of the world, she decided that the goods will be placed in baskets and presented as gifts to the customers, and then started organizing the registration of her own company. Her friends were supposed to invest $10,000 individually for the business, which would make a total of about $40,000. At the end, Kelly instructed a local solitaire to prepare the documents of her own company, and then she ordered baskets and contracted designer to prepare logo for the products. So this is how she make a plan to create a new business and to invest in her own business. And then later on, after 2 weeks, her friends were engaged in a car accident, and then no one was able to pay, and then Kelly became short of money because she was the only one who have to pay from her own pocket. And then the main problem is that whether Kelly is liable for the amount or not. So that was the main hassle in that case, in that issue, whether Kelly is liable to pay that amount or not. So over here, now my friend Bharti will gonna explain the rule of this case study.
Now I am continuing with the rule. The Corporations Act 2001 will be applied to Kelly. According to this law, the acceptance of any person of a share in a company. The company that was to be started by Kelly was a non-liability company. The rule of shares of non-liability companies given in the Corporations Act 2001 will be applied to her. Her friends will not be liable for the amounts Kelly had contracted on behalf of the company which was to be established. The company registration laws presents in the Corporations Act 2001 will be applied to Kelly. This law states that when a company gets registered, its name gets associated with the registrar of the company. So now I am going to continue with analysis of case study 2. The corporation law will be applicable as it is the pure case of the small business that started without any legal consideration. First of all, the corporation law regarding the liability of the shareholders is applicable in this case. Kelly in this case cannot blame her friends according to law. There was no contract that determined Kelly that could bind her and her friends to pay. Kelly in this situation is liable for the money that she has contracted on behalf of the company that was to be formed, and the company was also not registered. Another corporation law that is applicable in this case is the corporation law of registration. While registration, a company needs to get compliant with the Corporation Act 2001, and the set of documents related to it needs to be kept up to date. The company gets registered, Kelly could get out of the contract because it is going to appear on the public register within the details regarding the company. The future registration of the company is doubtful, so it could be a minimum possibility for the company to get registered. Now my friend Aman will conclude this case study too.
So in the conclusion of the case study 2, it can be concluded that the Kelly is bounded by the Australian Corporation Act 2001 and is liable for the various amounts that she has taken on behalf of the company. So over here I can explain more to this one, that she took the amount, she is liable to pay to the company on her behalf. She could not ask for help from her friends or force them because they are not legally bounded by the contract. So whosoever is legally bounded with the contract, they have to pay it. So the one who is not legally bounded with any sort of contract in a company, so they are not legally bounded, so they are not liable, or they are not forceable to pay anything. So if a company gets registered, it needs to pay its debts that were determined by the contracts on the company. So with wrap up here, we just briefly explained the case study 1 and case study 2. As we understood the issues, especially the rules and analysis and conclusion of both of the case studies. So we all are, namely Amandeep Kaur, Bharti, and then Karamveer Kaur. We explained and discussed the presentation in a good way. Hope you like the video, and thank you, Amandeep Kaur.